life, sweet life, sweet life, sweet life.
So today we're going to be making a cake. I know we've been making treats lately, but we're back to making a cake today. So I'm starting off with 4 different color fondants that I made, and I'm going to roll these out. And then I have like a cardboard cutout of like a wave type shape that I'm going to use as a stencil to trace the layers for this cake. And although I'm using a stencil for these waves, I want them to be kind of uniform, but not exactly the same, just because the cake is more rustic looking. So I am using a stencil, but for the scrap pieces, I just kind of freehand cut those. So we're going to be attaching these to the cake with piping gel. I've already covered this cake in white fondant, but the top I actually covered with the cream color that's going to be the top of the ombre. So it's going to go from cream to a tan, and then we're going to do like an olive green, and then we're going to do like a chocolate brown at the bottom. So kind of going from lightest to darkest. And I'm just adhering them to the cake with piping gel like I said before. And also I am only putting piping gel like halfway up each layer. I'm not actually putting piping gel all the way up until the curved tips, because we're going to actually peel some of those back, and that's what's actually going to give it the rustic look. If you put piping gel up the whole actual layer, it'll all just lay flat and you won't get that layered look. So now this is the next tan color. I'm just doing the same thing I did with the light cream color. Using the stencil, gonna cut out the shape again, and I actually put about 3 rows around on of each color. So there's 4 different colors, so there's 12 layers all together. And for your reference, this is an 8-inch cake. My cake is 8 inches. It's about 5.5 inches high, and like I said, I end up putting 12 of these layers around the cake. And guys, when you're putting these layers on, you don't want to try to line it up with the previous layer. You're not trying to get each layer to match. You want each layer to look totally different from the last layer. So if you started in a certain place, you want to shift it just a little bit so that the wave on the next layer is completely different. If you do try to line it up, you will get a totally different pattern, and you won't get the rustic look, and you won't have those like random pockets, because all of your waves will line up the same and it won't give you the same look. Now, if you want a really neat looking layers, then you can line them up perfectly and that'll give you a different pattern. But if you're trying to achieve this pattern, you want to just randomly line them up, and you don't want to try to copy the previous layer. You want them to be random. You want every layer to look different from the last one. Okay, with the remaining fondant, I just made a bunch of little fondant balls. I literally just rolled them into balls with my hands. And for the little gold balls that you see with the stick, I actually ordered those for another cake. They were supposed to be balloons on another cake, and I didn't end up using them, so I ended up using them for this cake. And I got those from Amazon. I'll link those below. Also, this fondant pack, Wilton sells a pack of brown, like a multi pack of brown fondant. And this is what I started off with. I will link that below. I started off with that pack, but I kind of colored it a little bit more myself because some of them were more of a pink to me. So I lightened two of the browns and then I created the cream on top with just white fondant with just a touch of the darker brown. And then the green fondant, I just colored myself with some green food coloring. But I did start off with that Wilton 4 pack that comes with the tan, the brown, and the black. I will link it so you know what I'm talking about. So it did make it easier to make the different shades of brown. So now you see me sticking those gold balls that have the stick. Like I said, I got those from Amazon. They came in a pack with gold and silver. So I'll link those below. So I'm just basically randomly sticking the different bulbs around the cake. And so I'm going to stick the gold ones in first, the ones with the stick in first. And as you can see, I'm kind of reinforcing those sides that are sticking up, the first layer. And so then I'm going to go in with the smaller balls that I made and just kind of tuck them into all the little flaps that I pulled back. As you notice, I didn't pull every single flap back. I let some of them lay flat on the cake, and then the ones that I pulled down, I'm going to tuck the little balls into those little spaces. And I am sticking the little fondant balls that I made on with piping gel, just as I did with the layers. So that's what you'll see me doing here. As you can see, I'm randomly placing the balls all around the cake. In some areas, I will just place one ball by itself. And in other areas, I'll place a cluster of 2 or 3 balls. And so, like I said, I'm just tucking them into the flaps that I did pull back. And I'm sticking them on with piping gel. So the piping gel and the fact that the layer is pulled back is kind of securing the ball into place so it doesn't go anywhere. And then I'm also paying attention to the areas where the fondant meets on the same layer, where you can see I cut the fondant and then I had to put 2 pieces together. So I'm going in those areas and kind of covering up those areas with the balls as well, if you notice. So I'm paying close attention to those areas, kind of covering up the lines. And then I'm also tucking the balls into the flaps that are pulled back and also sticking them with piping gel so they don't slide or fall off the cake. Okay, guys, so you can see how I randomly placed them all around. They look gorgeous. So I'm now placing the Old Baby cake topper that I actually got from Amazon. I will link it below. And then I got these macarons from Walmart, guys. And they actually come with all the colors that I actually needed. How perfect is that? Because you know, if you buy macarons from like a bakery or individually, they can be very pricey. So this pack was, I believe, maybe like it was less than $5. It could have been $5 or less, but it actually had the creams and the browns and the greens that I needed, which is perfect. And so I'm just using a little bit of piping gel to stick the macarons down to the cake as well. Then you'll see me place a little teddy bear figurine that I actually got from Amazon as well. I will link that below on top of the cake as well. And this is the finished product, guys. I am in love with this cake. I hope you enjoy watching. I hope you try to make it. You can make it in any color. You can do it with different shades of blue for like a nautical theme. But I just love this cake. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and most of all, subscribe to my channel, guys. Bye.